The shuttle dropped through the cloud line like a swallowed stone. Lightning veined the sky, white against black, and the metal hull groaned as if it feared what waited below. Through the viewing slit, Tarkesh, 9 stretched wide, an angry world of iron storms, molten rivers, and forests that moved when no wind blew. Inside, 15 cadets gripped their harnesses in silence. The air smelled of ozone and panic. Only one man sat relaxed, his head tilted against the cold bulkhead, chewing calmly on something that looked suspiciously like a sandwich. Lieutenant Aaron Holt watched the clouds burn away and muttered, "Looks cozy enough." A reptilian cadet 2 seats away hissed, his scales glistening with sweat. "Cozy? You call that cozy? That storm has teeth." Aaron smiled faintly. "Then we won't fall asleep on patrol." No one laughed. The shuttle slammed down with a jolt that sent helmets clattering. Outside, wind screamed across the landing field, thick with dust that shimmered like ground glass. A ramp unfolded, glowing faintly from atmospheric friction. The first to emerge was Commander Zyril of Vath, 6-limbed, carapaced, gleaming like living armor. His voice rasped through the comm speakers, hard and cold. "Welcome to Tarkesh 9. If you survive the week, you'll earn the right to call yourselves soldiers. If not, the planet will remember your bones." The cadets exchanged nervous glances. Aaron slung his pack over one shoulder, stepped into wind, and squinted at the horizon. The gravity was heavier than Earth's, enough to make each movement deliberate. He breathed once, twice, steady rhythm. Behind him, a 4-eyed recruit gasped, "The air's thick. I can't." Aaron unclipped his auxiliary respirator and handed it over. "Slow breaths. Don't fight it." The alien stared, surprised. "You're not using one?" Aaron shrugged. "Tastes like home. Different recipe, same bite." Commander Zyril's mandibles clicked as he approached. "Lieutenant Holt, human representative, yes? You will follow orders precisely. Do not jeopardize my unit with your species' recklessness." Aaron met the commander's compound eyes without flinching. "I don't plan on dying, Commander." Makes the paperwork ugly. The wind howled louder, carrying sparks from the lightning plains. Zyril's antennae twitched, irritated. "Your kind treats everything as jest. This world will not tolerate arrogance." Aaron adjusted his pack and started walking toward the training compound. Good thing I packed humility then. The compound turned out to be a scattering of reinforced shelters half buried in rock. Half the lights flickered, and one tower leaned as if tired of standing. Inside, the temperature dropped sharply. Condensation beaded on steel walls, hissing as it met electrical conduits. A synthetic voice crackled from overhead speakers. "Welcome, Cadet Unit Alpha 9. Commencing survival cycle. Day 1. The group assembled around a flickering holomap. It displayed red zones labeled with hazard icons, radiation storms, magnetic anomalies, predator territories. In the center, a narrow path wound toward the training field. Zyril's mandibles clicked in a rhythm that might have been laughter. Your first task is simple. Reach Camp Delta before sunset. 2 kilometers. Carry your gear. Those who lag will remain for retrieval." A soft murmur ran through cadets. The reptilian, still shaken, asked, "Retrieval by whom?" The commander's mandibles spread. "By what's left of you, if anything remains." Aaron shouldered his gear. "Sounds like a fun stroll." They started moving. The ground underfoot was half solid, half liquid. A mosaic of crust and bubbling mud that smelled faintly metallic. Every few steps, the soil trembled as something massive moved far below. The sky remained bruised with thunder. Halfway across a ravine, the first casualty happened. The insectoid cadet from Rawl slipped, his leg plunging into a sinkhole. Before anyone could react, Aaron dropped flat, grabbed a cable, and hauled him free. The motion was fluid, instinctive. The rescued cadet trembled. You didn't hesitate." Aaron dusted off his gloves. "Hesitation's just another way to say goodbye." The words traveled through the group like a spark. For a moment, the panic eased. By late afternoon, the temperature spiked. The air shimmered, and the metallic dust began to rise in glittering sheets. Commander Zyril signaled a halt. "Magnetic inversion incoming. Shelter immediately. The alien scrambled toward rocky cover. Aaron crouched behind a ridge, checking his readings. He'd seen storms before on Mars, on Europa's mining belts, but this one felt alive. The magnetic pulse rolled through the valley like invisible thunder, making the air itself hum. Zyro barked, "Stay low. Do not." Aaron stood, scanning the horizon. "The flux will pass in 60 seconds. The commander glared. "You presume to read this planet?" Aaron pointed at the dust. "When it starts falling again, it's over. Nature leaves breadcrumbs if you look." True enough, the shimmering haze began to sink. The hum faded. The aliens peeked up in disbelief. Aaron sat on a boulder, opened his ration pack, and bit into a protein bar. The wind tugged at his uniform, whistling softly. One of the younger cadets approached hesitantly. "You eat now? After that?" Aaron smiled. "Storms make me hungry." Commander Zyro marched over, his expression unreadable. "Your calm is unnatural. Fear is a survival mechanism." Aaron chewed thoughtfully. "So is lunch." The commander's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Your indifference dishonors this unit." "Not indifference," Aaron said quietly. "Perspective. You panic, you waste oxygen. You focus, you adapt. That's how humans survive." For the first time, Zyro paused, antennae twitching. "You believe endurance is victory?" "I believe breathing is." Night fell quickly on Tarkesh 9. The air cooled to freezing, and bioluminescent vines glowed faintly among the rocks. The cadets built a makeshift camp, clumsy but functional. Aaron volunteered for first watch. He sat near the perimeter beacon, staring into the electric horizon. In the distance, something vast roared, too deep for sound, more like a vibration through the ground. Aaron didn't flinch. He'd seen worlds worse than this. He opened a small notebook, a relic of paper and ink. Inside were sketches of landscapes, notes from past missions, fragments of names long gone. He wrote, "Tarkesh 9, louder than fear, quieter than regret." A shadow loomed behind him. Zyro again. The commander's tone had softened, almost curious. "You do not seem unsettled." Aaron looked up. "I learned a long time ago. Fear's like gravity. You can't fight it. You just walk through it slower." Zyro studied him for a long moment. "We shall see if that philosophy keeps you alive." Aaron's lips twitched. "Guess we will." The commander turned away, vanishing into the dark. Lightning flared across the horizon, painting the landscape in violent color. Aaron leaned back against a rock, eyes half closed, listening to the rhythm of the storm. He thought of Earth, green rain, soft air, the smell of coffee at dawn. That world was gentle compared to this, yet it taught him everything he needed: patience, humor, and a quiet refusal to surrender. Somewhere behind him, a cadet whispered in awe, "He's just sitting there." Another replied, "Like the world can't touch him." Aaron smiled in the dark. It could touch him, of course. It already had. But he learned that fear only lived in the space you gave it. And here, on this cursed planet, he planned to give it none. Dawn came like a wound opening. The sky over Tarkesh 9 bled red and gold, painting the jagged terrain in harsh light. Steam rose from the fissures, and the air carried a metallic tang that burned the lungs. The camp's alarm sounded with a grinding tone that could wake the dead, or remind the living how close they were to joining them. Commander Zyro's voice cut through the cold morning air. "Unit Alpha 9, assemble for transit." The recruits moved sluggishly, still aching from the previous day's march. Their armor hissed with pressure adjustments. Eyes blinked through translucent visors fogged with sweat. Aaron was already standing, gear strapped, sipping from a dented thermos. The steam smelled faintly of coffee, a luxury he'd smuggled from home. A small avian cadet shuffled beside him, feathers trembling. "You drink that here?" Aaron nodded. "Makes the planet look less ugly." "Does it work?" He took another sip. "Not really, but it's a nice lie to start the day with." Zyro strode past him, mandibles glinting in the morning light. "Today, you cross the glass plains. 2 kilometers of reactive terrain. You will learn movement, precision, and teamwork, or you will not return. Step lightly. The planet listens." The glass plane spread before them like a mirror shattered into infinity. Crystalline surfaces caught the sun, refracting it into 1,000 sharp beams. Beneath the translucent crust, liquid magma pulsed slowly, glowing like a heartbeat. Aaron scanned the horizon through his visor. "Pretty," he muttered, in a homicidal sort of way. The first step cracked the surface with a faint hiss. Each movement echoed faintly underfoot, as though the ground resented being touched. The squad moved cautiously, single file. A sudden tremor rippled through the ground. The reptilian cadet, Tark, stumbled, slamming one clawed foot too hard. The glass responded with a shriek, and a geyser of molten gas erupted beside him. He yelped, flailing backward. Aaron lunged, grabbed Tark's harness, and pulled him clear. The fissure sealed behind them like a closing mouth. "Light steps," Aaron said evenly. "It's like walking on frozen rivers. Put weight where it listens, not where it complains." Tark swallowed hard. "You talk like the planet's alive." "It is," Aaron replied. "Everything's alive if it can kill you." Commander Zyral's voice crackled through the comms. "Halt! Quit instructing. You are not in command." "Understood," Aaron said, already moving ahead. "Just try and keep your numbers from shrinking." The path grew narrower. A faint vibration hummed beneath their boots. Aaron crouched, pressed his gloved palm to the surface, and felt a rhythm, steady pulses, almost musical. "Thermal veins shifting," he murmured. "We're standing on a breathing lung." No one answered. They just followed, eyes locked on Saul's boots, stepping where he stepped. Halfway across, a shimmering haze appeared on the horizon. The glass planes began to flex, bending in slow undulations. The heat distorted everything, sky, land, even time. "Keep formation," Zyral ordered. Then the first quake hit. Shards rose from below, slicing the air. Crystals shattered underfoot. The aliens screamed, scattering in panic. One fell through a hole that wasn't there a second ago. Aaron dropped flat, sliding across the surface, caught the cadet's hand just before he vanished completely. "Got you. Don't move." The cadet's terrified eyes met his. "We're going to die." "Not if you stop announcing it," Aaron said. "Hold steady." He swung his pack forward, snapped a magnetic line around a protruding shard, and hauled cadet out. Their armor scraped and sparked, but both came up alive. By the time they reached the far ridge, only 11 recruits remained upright. The rest had collapsed or frozen in place, shaking. Aaron stood on solid ground and scanned the survivors. "That's your first Deathworld lesson," he said quietly. "It doesn't care about your fear, your strength, or your rank. It just waits for mistakes." Zyral approached, carapace streaked with ash. "And yet you find time to lecture." "Habit," Aaron said. "Talking keeps me from screaming." Zyral's mandibles clicked. "You show no fear. Perhaps you lack imagination." Aaron met his gaze. "Or maybe I've already seen worse than this." The commander turned away without answering. They marched onward through the afternoon. The sun burned white, and the atmosphere shimmered like oil. The terrain shifted from glass to black stone littered with metallic spores that crackled underfoot. By evening, the squad reached a ravine where ancient machinery jutted from the rock, relics of a long-dead civilization. Twisted girders and rusted towers leaned over a narrow trench filled with glowing mist. "This is shelter," Zyral declared. "We rest here." The cadets collapsed in silence. The air was stifling, dense with static. Aaron sat apart, pulling a portable stove from his pack. A faint blue flame flickered to life. The avian cadet from earlier approached hesitantly. "You'd still eat?" "After that crossing." Aaron stirred the contents of his tin cup. "Body needs fuel. Fear burns calories faster than fire." The avian tilted his head. "You act like this is normal." "It is. Somewhere in the galaxy, it's always someone's bad day. We just drew the short straw." He handed the cadet a piece of ration bread. "Eat. You'll think clearer with something in your stomach." Across the camp, Zyral watched, arms folded. His second-in-command whispered, "He makes them listen." "That is the danger," Zyral said quietly. "They look to him when they should look to me." Night crept over the ravine. Strange, luminescent insects hovered above the mist, their wings whispering faint melodies. The air pulsed faintly with static electricity. A soft chime echoed from the central beacon. Environmental warning. Magnetic flux approaching. Seek grounding. Aaron rose instantly. Inside the trench. Stay low. Drop your weapons. They'll attract charge. The aliens hesitated until Zyro barked the same command. They scrambled into the trench. Lightning struck the ridges above, white and violet, carving glass scars into stone. The sound was too loud for thought. Aaron crouched near the others, his voice calm but clear. Close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. It'll pass faster if you stop fighting it. When the storm finally broke, silence fell like snowfall. The recruits opened their eyes to find the trench glowing faintly from residual charge. The storm had fused the rocks into new shapes, beautiful, deadly sculptures. Aaron exhaled, brushing ash from his sleeve. Well, he said softly, now you survived something you can brag about. Tark looked up at him. You didn't even flinch. Aaron smiled faintly. Didn't have time. Commander Zyro stepped closer, his tone low but edged. You continue to behave as if danger were a game. Why? Aaron met his gaze. Because panic's contagious. So is calm. I picked the one that keeps people breathing. For once, Zyro had no retort. The cadets settled into uneasy rest. Some whispered prayers in alien tongues. Others stared at the glowing trench walls as if waiting for them to move. Aaron stayed awake, watching the sky through a gap in the rocks. The stars here were different. Colder, sharper, like shards scattered across ink. He thought briefly of home. The scent of wet soil after rain. The sound of city traffic. The way silence felt when it wasn't trying to kill you.